What's going on, traders? So just wanted to make a video, an update video on where I've been, and I wanted to just kind of let you know where I stand with everything and what's going on, maybe some of the trades I've taken, etc. But not going to dive too deep into the trades. I just kind of wanted to give you an update on what I'm doing. I have still been live streaming every day, so if you want to join me on the live stream, I'm there every morning. Feel free to jump in the chat and talk and ask questions, do whatever you want to do. But feel free to join in there. Still been doing that every day. It's kind of something I enjoy doing. That's why I do it. And it's nice to have people to talk to. So feel free to chime in there. I'm usually live until at least lunchtime. Sometimes I go past lunchtime. It depends on what else I have going on that day. But so today, nothing too crazy. We still have the past eval. We turned that one over. And then we have been trading on the second eval, the strategy that I plan to use moving forward. And essentially what that is I look for a big move that breaks away from a previous resistance support. You've heard me say this before. I'm still looking for that type of move, but instead of trying to assume where it's going to stop, I wait for it to stop. Like that's going to be my goal moving forward. So if we look at this big move up, came down the bottom of this candle, we actually waited for the next candle to form, got in on the break of that candle with a stop at the high. It's that simple. It's a predefined stop because that's where it went to. So if it wants to go back up there, that's not the trade we're looking for. We're looking for it to turn around, break that previous candle, and continue down. This one started to go back up. We got pretty close to the highs, started to come back down. We actually added to the position knowing that we were going to stop out at the highs no matter what. So added, put the stop in immediately, replaced the stop because we already had the stop from the one contract, and it started to come down. Took this one off for a small win, and then it kind of went sideways, and then we had a big dump. This thing dumped all the way down here in one shot, from here all the way down, and me, thinking I know better, decided to take it off. And if we go down into the 1 minute real quick, you're going to see that in the moment, I was actually right. So I took this off. It decided to go back up a little bit. And then ultimately, I ended up being very, very wrong. So if we go back to the 5 minute, you'll see that this thing came down an extra, I think it ended up being like 63 points of where I should have gotten out. So the way that I'm getting into the strategy is the exact same way that I'm getting out. So I'm getting in on the break of that candle. I would be getting out on the first break of the candle going the opposite direction, which is all the way down here, which, yeah, it ended up being like 63 points. You multiply that by 20 per point with one contract, and that ended up being $1,260 that we left on the table on top of what I actually ended up making, which was like 440 bucks, I think it was. So a little bit frustrating because there was no reason to get out there other than the fact that it was a big drop, and I felt like it didn't do exactly what I wanted in the first place. Went right to that previous area where there was the top of the candle, thought it might bounce there. It tried to bounce there, but then ultimately ended up being very wrong. So not accepting the risk really cost me there. So not too happy with myself. And moving forward, I would like to make sure that I don't do that. And we did get one more trade down here. It was kind of the exact reverse of this. Made a big move to the downside, came up past this candle, and got in. And when we zoom in, you'll see the first break of the candle was on this candle here when it wicked down. And unfortunately, that got us out because, as you can see, it decided to make a decent little move after that. So a little frustrating because that was the move we were looking for. 2 to 1 would have been before this line off the daily, but is what it is, right? It's going to happen. These are going to happen, and these are going to happen. But the idea is to never let it happen where you get out early, right? You have to, if you're going to follow the system on your stops when you're not getting a lot, you got to be able to follow the system when it would have worked out very well. And it was very unfortunate to miss that type of move. As far as options go, we actually had the SPY credit spread and the IWM credit spread. We got out of both of those today. And I just want to briefly talk about that. We got into those when we were rolling over here. The SPY credit spread was a strike of 460 by 461. And not to get into any of the details of that too much, because I know any of you watching probably aren't really into options. But if you are interested in that, let me know down in the comments, and maybe I can start making some videos on exactly what I'm doing. But I was looking for it to roll over here, and we didn't, right? We got bought up, and we actually ended up going a lot higher, getting pretty close to that previous resistance, which is why I chose 460. We ultimately did deny that today and start to come back down. And it's a little frustrating, but I did take these off because I was looking for this to work right away. It didn't. And we also have Fed Pal talking on Friday. The expiration was next Friday. Didn't really want to chance this hanging out in this area. I mean, this move has been insane. If we kind of scroll out, you can see it's been straight up with no real pullback, just sideways. And then we had a day just like we did today. And then the very next day, we were right back up. And this move has been a month long of just straight up. And to be completely honest, thinking of like the Santa rally, New Year's rally, whatever you want to throw a rally in there for, we're coming up on that stuff. So could we be at all-time highs on the SPY after an incredible move with no pullback? There's a famous saying, the market can stay irrational longer than you can stay solvent. And I don't want to be a part of that, to be completely honest. And like I said, it didn't do what we wanted to do right away. So the fact that we were able to get out of the trade, essentially break even, it was actually a small profit. I'm very happy with that. RILY, this was one that we sold puts on for $14.50, and it actually gave us a scare. We sold these up here in the 20s, and it came down pretty much that next day, all the way down here to, what was the low of this candle? 17.26, and we flirted with it again today. So wasn't too excited. It was especially after in the morning, we actually made a really good move up in the morning, and I was a little sad that it didn't continue because I thought if we could get up above 20, the puts that I had sold would pretty much be worthless at that point. But we made a huge move down after that, going red on the day and flirting with yesterday's low. And I thought that, we might have to roll out. And again, I'm not going to get into the specifics what rolling is, but if we scroll out, you can see where 1450 was all the way down here. So it was still a ways to go by this Friday. Expiration is this Friday. But we actually ended up adding one yesterday when it was bouncing off of this low for double the amount that we sold for the day prior. So today I got rid of that one that we added when it made this move up for 80% gains. So I sold this one for $50 credit, bought it back for 10. So we ended up making $40 in literally a day based off of one contract. So that was pretty sweet. The original one that we bought up here for $25, that one, they were trading for about 10 cents. I think last I checked. But unfortunately, we put it out at 5 cents to close. We didn't get filled on it. But as you can see right now, it's sitting at 10 cents. And unfortunately, it looks like the bid was at 5, ask was at 15. So we didn't quite get filled that. But I'm assuming tomorrow we could probably get out of this as long as we don't gap down some crazy amount, which, I mean, it looks like it's trying to find a base here. So I think we'll be okay. And even if we don't get filled for some reason, I think just holding the expiration is fine. But I figured if we could get out at that $5 mark or 5 cent mark, which translates to $5, I would make 20 of the 25, essentially making 80% of that position as well. So I can't really complain. A lot of people say once you get to 50%, you can do it. That's probably a good idea. And then you can move on to another trade. This one has been very iffy because it can move a lot pretty quickly. I mean, as you can see on this day here, it went from 21.50 basically all the way down to 18.50. So it can move, and so this $4 isn't much. And that, like I said, when we did that the very next day, I was like, oh my, this actually might get hit. But as you can see too, if we go into this, we can roll this position if we wanted to go out to the 15th. We could go all the way down to 10 and get a pretty nice credit actually. So there was that, and I wasn't exactly too upset about it. Here, I don't want to cancel the pending order because I'm pretty sure these go in order of how they were received, because my IWM, it was actually printing 12. I had my limit order at 13 cents and it was printing 12, 13, 12, 13 for a while, and I didn't get filled right away, but then I finally got filled. So I'm wondering if it has something to do with like the order that they're put in. I don't know that for sure. It's something I could look into. But overall, doing pretty good. Can't really complain. Started this with, it was like 25.3 something. And after the rally trades, we'll be doing pretty good. And that was just a couple weeks ago, or actually, yeah, it might even, I think tomorrow might be 2 weeks. I don't know exactly. But like I said, just kind of messing around, finding my footing. I know what I want to do. Credit spreads, I'm not so sure I want to mess with too much, especially with the indexes. I don't think I'm going to do that moving forward. Might not. I don't know. We'll see. If I do, it'll probably be trying to go with the trend instead of against the trend. So we'll see. I was just very convinced looking at the daily chart on the SPY that we were going to have some sort of a pullback, And the SPY is clearly saying it doesn't want to. I mean, maybe today it'll start something, but I just have a feeling that the Fed people talking the rest of the week and all that is going to possibly spark something. And again, 460 is pretty close at this point. Not really looking for it to just spike up through, and then it puts me in a weird spot, especially with the spreads. They're a little bit harder to roll because you're involving two types of positions. And I'll leave it at that. Like I said, I don't want to get too far into it. But that's all I got. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Always appreciate the support. Remember, I am live pretty much every morning. I'm still trading futures if you want that. The Apex sale ended yesterday, the 90% sale. Hopefully you guys got uh, your extra accounts that you wanted. I saw a few people signed up via the affiliate thing that I get and via email every morning. And I'll see you guys. Maybe I'll make a video tomorrow. Maybe I won't. I don't want to promise anything because, like I said, taking a break from socials has been kind of nice. But I felt like I needed to update you guys. You know, I didn't blow anything up or do anything crazy. Just kind of finding my footing moving forward. And I will see you in the next one. Peace.